Right, so new PC is up and running, and the first video, which is basically I lost my PC, is made. Old fridge is there. New fridge has arrived. Well done, couriers. You actually pulled the cat rabbit out the hat there, and installed. So Holly's just in the house stocking that up, and now I've got to go out there and start all over again. Okay, so starting all over again may be a small exaggeration, not quite that bad. I've lost about 10 days footage from my old PC, and unfortunately it's some good stuff, but it's not the end of the road. Most of it could be recovered. So right, we got a small problem. Our dogs have been getting out, and we didn't know where for a while until we spotted one coming back in through the hedge. So they've been getting out through here. I need to do something about that, and I reckon the easiest thing for the time being is gonna be that. I knew I'd find a use for this sooner or later. So they're not going to be too pleased about this being shut in, and one of the reasons they're not going to be too pleased about it is somewhere down in the yard down there, there's a deer carcass. Either they've caught it, or a deer has died, or it's been hit by a car or something. Anyhow, for whatever happened, I found most of it down there, but between the dogs and the foxes, I think it's spread about a bit, and I keep finding the dog in the garden with a bit of blimmin' bone. So yeah, this is an attempt to keep them in. Okay, it's a bit Heath Robinson, and maybe even slightly of a bodge, but you know what, if it works. It still leaves a little bit of a gap in there. I reckon I got a small hurdle that'll fit in there. That'll do that. The thing is, with a rusty old bit of ironwork like that, it won't show up. If I put a shiny new one in there, well, it would stick out like a sore thumb. So yeah, we'll see if that works. If that works, I'll probably drive a couple of steel rods down in there and kind of make it temporarily permanent. Oh yeah, the van's fixed. I took it up to our local Ford dealer yesterday. 20 minutes, 50 quid. But yeah, all new clips, all new fixings, all put back together, nice and tidy. Sweet. Hello Tiddly, how are you this morning? She's a lot better. I would say pretty much 95% recovered. Anybody in here got anything to tell me? No? I'll just double check. It won't be long before our heifers start bagging up and dropping calves. Oh. Hello, sweetheart. Nothing yet. And that was one of the reasons I wanted to delay our TB testing, because we're testing in a couple of weeks, very, very close to them calving. And I really wanted to avoid that, but the ministry have said, nope, if you delay your TB test, we're gonna fine you off of your, well, what's left of your RPA. So it's kind of, I've got no choice. I've got to do it when they're heavily pregnant or in the middle of calving. Right, you lot need a fresh bed in there. That kind of got left yesterday because I was so busy trying to sort out replacing my PC. That kind of got put back. It's not terrible. And how much grub you got left? Actually, you've got enough to keep you going for a little bit longer as well. That bailiff's lasted a day and a half. Normally it's just a day, and now that's both ends, day and a half. Hello, Tiddly. So, no, if you're going to ask, I did check the buckles yesterday. It's not too tight. It's probably going to come off. I think we're supposed to warm up a bit now. It's probably going to come off maybe tomorrow. The jacket come off that calf. She's looking a lot better, a lot happier, and so am I. Hello, mate. Hello. Yeah. Hello. I know you've all been wondering what I keep in this shed. Well, not a lot, to be honest, because I can't lock it up. But it's basically sheep stuff. That's too good. That's too good. That'll do. Yeah, don't tell my brother that shed's full of sheep stuff, because all of a sudden it'd become unfull of sheep stuff. But yeah, that's all the old Polden Vale feed racks, what's left of the race, a few more bits of the race. That's from the new race, pins, foot bath. Now, I've got no intention of ever keeping sheep again, and I dare say if Michael says, can I borrow it, I'll say, yeah, you carry on and borrow it. But it's a case of borrowing means bringing it back and putting it back where you found it. So we'll see how that works. This container with the ever so slightly knackered door, this was given to me by a local primary school, actually. This was their caretaker's shed. I think it had been donated to them, and it's got a new roof welded onto it, so it's all watertight. It's got a good floor, good sides. It's only really the doors that are knackered. But for me, a bit of dry storage, and we can put stuff in there that's not really terribly valuable. To be honest, the value of what's in there, it ain't worth the risk of being shot. Hurdle, gap in the hedge. That sort of dog's out. They will not be happy. Not that it matters to the two collies, mind you, because they just go straight over the gate. But Muppet, yeah, she's become an escape artist. Okay, not sure if you're going to be long enough to go in there. Well, barely, but it did get in there. In there it will go. They might try and squeeze through in that corner, but I reckon that will be enough of a barrier to keep them in. How were you this morning? Hey, you better? She hurt her leg yesterday. She was swinging her left shoulder. So 2 doses of Metacam and 24 hours later, she's looking a lot better, ain't you? I'm not kicking the ball for you because you're still injured and you're daft. I kicked the ball and she'll end up hurting herself again. Okay. Before I make my way over to Dad's, can I just say thank you, Peter, for the box of spanners. I'm sure we'll put them to good use. Thank you, appreciate it, mate. Right, that's them put away in there. Now to load up. So the reason I got over to my Dad's is he's pretty much out of firewood, and I made a promise a long time ago that I wouldn't let him run out of firewood. So hence the reason the cattle bedding is waiting a little bit. I'm not that bothered about letting them wait because it's not like anything's lying down in there. I mean, the barn's pretty much empty. They're all outside stuffing their faces. So, but yeah, we'll do that when we come back. Might be after lunch actually. Won't take long. In with that. Another bit of straw, a bit more wood chip. Job will be a good one. So, right, there's the bag. That's a bit grubby in there. I've changed my mind. I'm going to do it a different way. Yeah, well, they are. I missed it on camera, but the steer and the dog are playing. girl. You just checking? Sorry, the lads borrowed my Land Rover. What you got in there? One day last week, and she hasn't been here since, so we've switched to Hoover mode, haven't we? Let's put that blade up the other way a minute. Okay, right, let's go. Just waiting for the little curly whirly to go out. There you go. Sweet, isn't it? Right, stay there a minute. Ooh! Ooh! Has my luck changed? Is today going to be lucky day? Whole pound. I'll buy myself something nice. All I want now is a barra. We're not playing, you're still injured, alright? You're just too daft to realise it. Yesterday you couldn't, this was all frozen yesterday, wasn't it? Yeah, let's give it time to heal, shall we? Daft dog. That's going nowhere. Got your seatbelt on? I'm putting mine on. Not putting a seatbelt on? Well, I suppose in doggy years she is over 15. So, you know, entitled to make her own decision. Alright, you can sit there, are you? Alright, let's go and see your mate. Love-hate relationship. She loves to go and see and squeak, but she hates squeak. It's a dog thing. Isn't it? Yes. Well, that's a fairly meaty sized pile of shit out in Pigeon Mead now. So for those of you who haven't been here very long, we've got a 10-acre piece of ground over from the farm. Used to be, when I was a boy, little boy, that was spuds. My dad used to grow spuds out there, because that was often my job when I got back from primary school or whatever, or weekends, to earn a bit of pocket money, was to go out and bag up spuds. He would go out, he had a little, I think it was a little Ford 4000 with a single drive potato spin on the back, and he would literally go up a row of potatoes, do about 50 yards or something like that, and chuck the potatoes out. So we didn't have to dig them, all we had to do was put them in the bag, and then that was like a couple of hours, go up there and just fill bags up with potatoes. So I don't have fond memories of doing that, and the memories aren't particularly burnt into my memory, but I do remember doing it. I also remember that cat. Yeah, the cat. On the back of my left hand, you probably can't see it now because the wrinkles have covered it up. No, I can still see them. There's two white spots on the back of my hand, and that was from a great big fluffy ginger cat. Don't know how old I was. I do know I was at primary school. And yeah, the school bus dropped us off outside Cannon Court next door, and I saw this cat out on the common, and it was mousing, and it serves me right. I mean, so this cat had its head inside a big tuft of grass, and he was doing it there, he was trying to get the mouse out. So there's a mouse inside there, and the cat was trying to catch the mouse, and I don't know why I did it. I don't know why I did it. I literally crept up behind the cat and pulled his tail. Well, obviously the cat wasn't very impressed with that. Not only did I startle him, he was pretty miffed that this thing had pulled his tail. So the cat spun round and sunk his fangs right into my hand. Proper bite. You know, if I had another 2 ton of bite pressure, I'd have taken your hand off. So the 2 marks are right in the middle of my palm now. So, I mean, I was only a little fella, my hands were not even half the size. But yeah, big cat bite. And I remember having to go to the doctors and checking on my tetanus updates and stuff, all that sort of stuff. But and my mother telling me, "It serves you bloody well right. That was a stupid thing to do." So if I'm going to pass on a snippet of wisdom today, especially to you youngsters, if you see a cat mousing, don't go up behind it and pull his tail, okay? Life lesson there. I learnt it the hard way. You can learn by my error. It was a painful error, and I would never do it again. I might watch somebody else do it, but I would never do it myself. Never again, no. So I suppose while we're talking about scars and life experiences and stuff like that, and I will not be unique. There will be people out there with marks on their body that they did in their youth or even middle age or whatever else, that will remind them forever of a mistake. So on that finger, I don't know if you can see that because it's probably waving about a little bit, there's a scar right across the end of my finger where I cut the end of my finger off. I did that with a sheath knife. When I was young, I have always carried a knife. When I was younger, I always carried a sheath knife, which is a fixed blade, probably about a 5 or 6 inch blade knife, and I've had many when I was younger. Obviously nowadays, carrying a great big knife that around is kind of frowned on, because there are a lot of people out there who abuse things like that. Anyway, there I was, young fella, early teens I think, I don't remember again how old I was, walking through the wood up in what we call the moat field, just walking through the wood, whittling away on this stick, and come to this particularly tough little bit. I think it was a knot in it or something. Knife wasn't that sharp, so I was like, wallop, and the next thing is the end of my finger's hanging off, and there's claret pumping all over the place. It didn't hurt, as I recall. I don't remember it being terribly painful. I remember it throbbing later on, but I don't remember it being actually really painful. I just remember it being a lot of blood. When I got back home to Mum, there was no way I was going to hide that, because there was blood everywhere. There was no way I was going to hide it. My mother was a nurse. She was a state registered nagger. I mean, state registered nurse, state registered neurotic. There were so many words for that. And she looked at it, and I said, "Have I got a good hospital? I'll have stitches." She said, "Well, you can if you want to, or I'll just stick a plaster on it." Now, bear in mind, the end of my finger's flapping, it's hanging off. Today, that would be, oh, into hospital, no, you must have stitches, you got to do this, you got to do that. No. I mean, she was a nurse, she knew what I was doing, so she disinfected it, cleaned the cut out, not that it was that dirty, cleaned it out, and literally I had a plaster and then a finger dressing on my finger for, I don't know, 10 days. I think she changed it a couple of times. But yeah, when I got back, she didn't actually know what I'd done to myself, because I'd walked all the way home with my finger in my armpit. So all down the side, right outside of me, was just, my shirt was just covered in blood. So she had no idea what I'd done until I went. So I think she was actually relieved when I showed her my finger, and I didn't actually have a hole in the side of in my armpit or something. Yeah. So that's another scar. I have more scars, and maybe we'll talk about them another day. But any of you lot got childhood memories and rememories of things you did, you shouldn't have done, regret doing? I mean, you may have scars that have fond memories. I'm sure there's some of you who said, "Yeah, I got this scar, but it was absolutely worth it." You know, coming down from Mount Everest or something, I pinched my finger, but I went up Mount Everest, so it was worth it. Stuff like that, you know. So if you've got something, a scar or something like that, just we all really want to know about your scar. Ever such a lot, loads. Okay, so my biggest one is 18 inches long, just so you know, all right? You may have guessed by now that I'm kind of struggling a bit for content today. Losing all that data and all that video has kind of thrown me a bit, because I had a load of good stuff. I had actually reviewed some of it, and some of the stuff we shot up at class was, it will be, if I can get it back, it will be a good video. But yeah, it's kind of thrown me. There's not that much to do on the farm at the moment. I mean, we got TB testing in a couple of weeks, so we'll be preparing for that. We do have dehorning. I think dehorning and castration, I think, is next Friday. I think Sam the vet, again, those of you that have been with me for a while will remember Sam the vet. He's the one that found the Cadbury's cream egg in the calf scrotum a couple of years ago. Yep, he did. You'll have to go back and find it. So yeah, dehorning and castration. Now that's one of those videos where I can tell you what's going on, but we don't tend to get too graphic with it, because it's not a nice thing to do. I mean, it's not something we enjoy. It's also quite an expensive thing to do, because we get the vet to come and do it. I could do castration myself, I could do dehorning myself, but we tend to let our calves go a bit later, because quite often on the dexters, because they're so small, quite often the testicles don't drop straight away. It could be a couple of weeks, and we found that a couple of times before. If we try and do it too soon, we end up just having to come back, which means calling the vet out twice. So if we wait till they're a little bit older, they're up, they're growing, they're happy, they seem to take it better, they heal faster. No, that's not true, they don't heal, they heal fast enough, as fast. But at least we know 99.9% sure we're going to get both testicles, and at the same time we do the dehorning. So yeah, like I say, not a nice thing to do, but for the safe management of the animals, the stock, and keeping breeding and everything else under control, it is a necessary evil. So I'm sure the vegans would think it's barbaric. So probably some of the calves might as well, but it's not barbaric. It's all done under local anaesthetic. It's all done with the vet on call, that if something should go wrong, that we get a bleed, at least I got a trained vet there who can do something about it there and then. So yeah. Right, well, not far away from Dad's, so I'm going to go there and unload his logs, and we'll come back, we'll bed out the animals, and I'll see if I can find something else interesting to talk about, because I ain't got much to show you. All I can do is talk to you. Lena, we want the barrow. Last time I did it, I forgot to bring it, and that's an awful long way. 20 metres over there, half a dozen logs at a time. I know it's a lazy load, so what? If I drop a couple, won't matter. It's still going to be less trips. Not seen the old man yet. He's probably asleep in his chair. Okay, that should do it. So, full pallet and a part pallet. That'll keep him warm for, well, a couple of weeks anyway.